So, good morning, everyone. Tom and I did this yesterday, and my computing skills, stroke, not having a clue about it, it didn't record. So we chatted for an hour, which was a lush chat, Tom, I thought, and saw Izzy, which was cool. But today we are actually recording it because Tom's doing it. So, welcome, Tom. I hope this records.
You're going to help out, Iz. You're going to do it instead. So we might have Izzy running in and out in between all of this.
Why not? I got two dogs. So, Tom, you sent a message to Pat. Was that last week or the week after? I generally don't know what day of the week it is.
Yeah, about a week ago, wasn't it? Just
cool.
Saying what we could, anything that anybody wanted a bit of help with, what they could do. A lot of people obviously got nets and stuff up. Are trying to do stuff. And I've had a few inquiries and a few kind of questions come in, so hopefully we'll be able to answer a bit of that and get people still having.
Yeah, I think there's quite good feedback from it. Really, we got a few messages. So I think the biggest one that came out of it was how should people be practicing when this is all going on? And like you said, there's a lot of people who've got nets and they've got putt outs and they've got cameras and stuff set up, so now is a prime time to get ready for when the season kicks off, whenever it is. So some thoughts on that, Tom?
I mean, big thing I always think is, it's very different to, it isn't very different to normal practice in that you've got to have a goal, you've got to have an aim to do it. If it's just literally your 20 minutes of exercise for the day it involves, treat it as that. So you don't care about how you strike it or how you swing it or any of those sorts of things. But equally, if you are trying to change the swing, do something like that, create something that creates some feedback. Otherwise, it becomes, and if you just go out there without an aim, it becomes ball bashing, and you can then get kind of lose enthusiasm because you're actually going for an aim you haven't actually set beforehand. If that makes sense.
Perfect. Yeah. Because I mean, we talked about it yesterday when we didn't record it. When I didn't record it, about maybe keeping like a diary or kind of a few notes on how you practice when at the start, maybe make a note of what you're trying to achieve from it, even if it is, like you said, using it as your 20-minute exercise or warm-up. If it's to change your movement, if it's to gain videos for your coach, whatever it is have a goal at the start of that. So, hey,
my is well entertainment.
Have a goal at the start, and then basically keeps you motivated, keeps you more focused, and keeps you, instead of, like you said, ball bashing, which I've seen a lot of videos that is pretty much what people are doing, is just drag and hitting, whether it's chip in action or putt in action or a full swing action. There's just too many ball bashings. That's the right way of saying it.
Because I think there's we talk a lot about coaches. There's a lot of time to be very task related. So there's one of the things I've seen that was quite good with putting, where people were putting to tee pack. So really gets you working for a really nice small target rather than a bigger target. So it's very task led. But if you're trying to change your putting mechanics, that's not going to help you change your putting mechanics. It will improve your quality of your performance, but it won't improve your mechanics if that's what you're needing to change. And I think, especially at the moment where people are hitting in the nets, what is a great opportunity to do is to change the mechanics, to change that movement that you've not been able to get out of, because you don't really get as much feedback as we probably like with nets, because we're not seeing ball flight.
Yeah. But we talked about this yesterday in terms of the winter we've had. We've done lessons in the nets over winter to try and get people to change a movement, and actually it's so much more beneficial sometimes because they're not seeing a ball flight. Yeah. So because they're not obsessing over what the ball is doing, they are just working on what they physically are doing to change the ball flight eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of the good things that we do is, if we are going to be hitting some shots, kind of making sure there is something down there, you've got, whether it's a ball or a tee peg or something like that, and really exaggerating the moves. If you're somebody who's very kind of under here, really exaggerates. but having something on the ground so that you can see, right, I can still make contact. Or, you know, the more popular one that we see with people doing that, it's like kind of trying to reroute and make a really different move, but still having that little bit of feedback down on the ground. We've always got something to bring it back to, because obviously once we come back to hitting balls and playing again, but then still be able to make that mechanical move and make contact with the ball. I think one of the big things, we talked about it a bit yesterday, Mark Bull, who's a biomechanist, so works with a lot of physiology on how people's joints are working, works with a lot of top players where they've got restrictions of movement. One of his big things he was saying about what limits people's movement isn't just your structure, but you're also your perception of what you're trying to do. So it's making sure that you've got that right concept and perception that you're doing first. So rather than thinking, right, you know, I sliced the ball, so I've got to get it back into perfect place, but I've got to feel the club coming much more from the inside. I've got to feel the club face being much more close to the impact. We're going to feel those perceptions change, feel those concepts change, which I think is where kind of stuff we've done on your swing is quite a good example, isn't it? Yeah,
I think that's what I've been trying to do over the last couple of days with the changes that you've made with me. So for those people that don't know, I don't move my body because it's broken. So we're trying to get me turning, trying to get it slightly shallower on at impact. So I'm doing pretty much exactly what you've said, is I'm using the patio door. I don't have a net, so I'm using my patio door reflection and my phone, videoing it, just to really over exaggerate that movement, because I think sometimes what I feel and what is actually going on are two very different things.
Yeah.
So I think it comes back down to is this over exaggerated movement. Unless we did it thousands and thousands and thousands of times, we're never going to really over exaggerate it that much, but we're just going to understand that we have changed it.
That's it. And then that natural thing, once we get out into there's a golf ball there, we've got a target, we've got a penalty. We're probably not going to be we're not going to be that close to the new exaggeration, but we are certainly going to be closer to that than to what we instinctively do, which is ultimately what we've got to do. You know, you speak to a lot of people who are kind of teaching at research levels in golf, and that's what they talk about. You know, top players are able to do is they make changes that help them manipulate some moves and just moves them away from what's instinctive to them, so that then they can deal with pressure. The pressure for most of us is just, you know, come play golf around the golf with one ball, maybe.
Yeah. No.
Especially with all MSTPs.
So in terms of a start point, is maybe during the session is someone videos their swing for a few swings to start off with?
Yeah, and key thing, we talked on a lot yesterday about where to be videoing from. So your key thing, whether it's down, you know, particularly if you get both sides, ideally for us, when I'm somebody's swing for video, I want to be able to see both sides. It's where both is where we use launch points, helps a lot. But the key thing is having the camera the same distance away, whether it's down the line or face on.
Yeah.
And the best angle we tend to like to see is trying to get the camera level with the grip of the club and that where your hands are. So that gives us, you know, you can't totally see plane and path on the kind of video, but it gives a much better indication. So trying to get, and with most of the cameras now, usually you get a little focus square. When you video, the focus square wants to be on there for down the line. And then the same again with face on, trying to keep it at that level in there. So then the video is nice and consistent. If it's consistent, then we can give you much better feedback on what you're doing. And again, it's easy for you to see differences and changes.
I think the biggest, like pretty much what you've just said, is some people's gardens are only just kind of, they can only just fit themselves in there. So I'm getting camera angles like from all over the shot from people, and if that's all they can do, that's fine. But like you said, it's got to be consistent. But ideally, you want to be, like you said, face on or exactly down the line, because if you're slightly skewed, your swing can look really, really different.
Yeah.
So that's all I would say is, whether it's a tripod or a chair or something, you can find something at home, is to get the camera angles correct. If you are one, videoing it to look at it yourself, or two, sending it to your coach, get those camera angles right, because without those, the whole swing can be very skewed and very different.
Hello. Nicky, my
There
driver.
it is. Hello again.
Hello, everybody. Is he? Are you going to nick the driver?
Should I give a driver smash? So, in terms of practice, we're happy or getting people to understand what they should be practicing at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Changing movements, they don't need to see a ball fly. It's just trying to change a physical feel or understanding.
Yeah, and then just give themselves maybe a bit something down on the ground so that they always have an impact spot. So now I've got like 2 balls that are just over a ball's width apart. That can be something quite good. Using your alignment sticks and things like that to just help structure those setup positions and start to kind of always give yourself a little bit of a framework that you're working from. Even if all you're trying to do is hit balls for 30 minutes, if you've got a bit of a structure from it, then any physical issues as well are going to be kind of minimised and any limitations.
Fab. Cool. So a technical question someone asked. So that was about the practice. Really important. One of the guys, I don't know, I don't personally know him, but he's a member of the Kendleshire, and he sent me an email and said he is slicing the ball.
Yeah.
And he was just wondering if there's anything he could be doing this time of, well, now. I did message him back and just to ask if he had any physical restrictions, because obviously if they've got physical restrictions, that can cause big changes in someone's movement. To see where we've got, he is physically fit, got no issues. So it was just a quick one for people to be practicing. Potentially, let's say if they slice the ball, so for right-handers, the ball is curving off to the right.
So,
yeah, if you've got any drills or thoughts to that, Tom.
So if we were seeing a better ball flight, you could probably think a lot more about the face. If we're in a net, this is actually a really good opportunity to fix the big thing out, which is the path. So one of the best things to do, just get something like a ball, sort of 3-dimensional, like that. Put that just outside your right shield once you're into setup position. What that'll mean is that when you then start making your swing, not so much, we're not too worried about it on the way back. You could even kind of move it out over. But it's trying to get the swing path coming from the inside on that downside. And the more and more it's back here, the more and more you're forcing from that position. Close, equally, if you've got somebody to hook it, same sort of thing. You know, get the ball out in front, and we start to force the path a bit more around to the left early on in the downswing. That's a good one for that. Another quite good one is getting an alignment stick. Hold on to that. And as you're swinging, again, if you come over too early, it's going to catch you. You can come to the path on the inside and squaring up better. And you will feel like everything is going far, far too much that way. But what you're starting to feel is a face that's wanting to come in and then close for impact rather than wanting to close beforehand. So that's two I've kind of worked on if you're not able to see as much ball flight, which a lot of us aren't. Yeah. That'll kind of get to the strong parts of what cause that shape of shot.
I think that again is in your little goal book or in your little book to start off with, is have an idea of what your flight was to start off with. And if it's all over the shop, then it's all over the shop. But if you know that the ball predominantly flies left to right, to write that down, and then eventually over the next few weeks, few months, we won't know if it's changing, but as soon as we get on the golf course or onto driving ranges and you actually see a ball flight, we've kind of got a slight idea of what we're doing in terms of practice.
And it means that once you maybe start seeing a ball flight, it might be, say, wandering still a little bit off to the right, but then that's the point where you can start to get some face closure happening and not start to see the swing path being kind of disrupted. I think that's one thing we do, so it's particularly where people slicing is they're trying to get the ball going left, so they close the face early, but then the path then it starts to go too much that way. So yeah, face is going left, the swing's going left, so boom, off it goes. So this way, this is quite a good chance for people, really, I guess. Oh, these are gone.
In terms of physical movement, the guy who, hopefully we've answered his question, nailed it. If someone had, well, let's say I've been sat inside for 3 weeks now and I haven't moved. Physically, if you go and try and then hit balls every day or do 100 swings or absolutely go for it, physically that's not healthy.
Yeah.
And physically, all I would say is that's when we're more likely to see injuries. And I remember you can't get to chiropractors or physios too quickly, I don't think. So in terms of mobility movements and rotation, that's a biggie, I'd say, at the moment. Is still getting people to try and turn, if they physically can, just slowly to start off with before they go and start whacking any balls.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to do it. We'll do another video. I'll have to get some resistance bands out. There's a thing, we did a bit of research at PGA, not myself, sports science department, and showed the performance advantage of stretching as opposed to hitting balls. And there was a significant improvement in club head speed and a significant improvement in quality of strike. The poorer the player was as well. So getting away from ball bashing and let's get my body into a position where I can deal with, you know, even our juniors are accelerating that golf club to 50 miles an hour in a second. That's a lot of dynamic action happening on the body. That takes a lot out of it, you know. That's why, like for you, where we're playing for England and stuff for a long time, you're doing a certain movement, moving at 100 miles an hour in a second, hip joints, shoulder joints, wrists, all your movements in your body. So the more and more you stretch and physically help yourself, the better chance.
I think that's the biggie. Well, just on a personal note, is when we had our last lesson. I know it seems like ages ago now, but you got me jumping or trying to lose the fear of jumping on a chair, breaking my shin. But you got me flip like jumping literally round 90 degrees, 180. And that just dynamic movement alone kind of gets things firing and gets things moving better instead of like standing there and just smashing balls. Things are changing massively, I think, in the technical, physical world. And I think you don't need to just be hitting balls. You can be doing anything, rotation, jumping, lunging, twisting to get it moving, which this whole Joe Wicks thing that we were talking about earlier is your prime example. Is why not try and do a bit of that to start off with every morning, because everything that we're doing movement wise is going to help your golf game.
Yeah.
Sitting watching 7 episodes of Ozark because you're slightly obsessed with it now is not going to help my golf swing that much. But it's good.
I have no idea what the program is there.
It's slightly obsessive. But I think that moving is a biggie while we're in these times, not just for golf but for life in general. If you're flexible and you're feeling good, it helps with this whole mental health thing, because I think we're so easily stuck in a house and not moving. So I'd say any movements that we can do, rotation, twisting, jumping, anything is really good for golf.
Yeah, the last thing we want as well is, once we come out of all this in however long it takes, oh yeah, I'm busting to go and play golf, and you play rubbish because your physical body's not into it. Lose enthusiasm and all them really nice ones when we can get back out on a beautiful golf course again. We stop doing it because we don't enjoy it. Otherwise, using this time to keep your body in a good place will help massively.
Yeah. Cool. Yes. So, so I think that's given people a couple of things to think of or just talk about.
We'll probably cover doing another one of these next week. We can get some resistance bands and stuff like that to show a few movements that maybe we're thinking about doing. Even stuff like if all you can do is do putting indoors, it's surprising how much stretching you need to do before you putt. There's a heavy part of your body hanging forward, and you're trying to make the most accurate movement you have to make. So
mine's very heavy at the moment. What's that?
I'm unfortunately doing the Connor Orson Wells and getting very heavy down here, very low centre of gravity.
Yeah, so I think it's basically getting people to, in terms of recap, getting people to write down before they start doing whatever their practice is, what they're trying to achieve from that.
Yeah.
It's kind of getting people moving a little better, just to prevent injury, really, and maybe over-exaggerating the movement that they're trying to achieve, just to judge that, what's actually going on. And then if people send videos, make sure camera angles are on the right angles, because that's beneficial to us as well as coaches.
Yeah, it's what I was thinking. It almost seems like a bit serious to create yourself a framework, create yourself some aims and goals, but most of us have got a lot of time on our hands at the moment, and obviously you can create a framework. You can, my girlfriend would love to be able to create. She's created spreadsheets about how many reps she does in a Joe Wick workout, but she loves a spreadsheet. She's an accountant.
But I think that helps motivate doesn't it? If you see yourself getting better and improving on it, you kind of carry on with it. Whereas if you don't, and that's the problem at the moment, because people are going to be hitting balls and potentially not see a change. Whereas if you've got a video of it to start off with, or if you've got notes of what you've been doing, you know that they're going to be changing it eventually when we see a ball flight.
Yeah, we've got that benchmark to work from, which is that's always the key. At the start, and then you can see how much it's got better. But loads better and not actually know it. And what you want to do is actually get to know that, so you can build your confidence and keep things going the right way.
Cool. And if anyone needs to get hold of you, Tom, is email best? It's on the website, isn't it?
Best one, or through Facebook. Either of those work really, really well. And if you have got videos and stuff, same as you, I use Coach. We both use Coach now. It's a really great app, which means you can even capture direct on your phone and then put it into Spaces, so we can kind of help you a little bit that way with different things. Yeah. My pupils now, we both do quite a lot. It's a really great little resource.
Cool. Well, if there's anyone that watches this and wants us to discuss anything next week, now that we've nailed the recording, fingers crossed, yeah, let us know and we'll have a chat, and hopefully might get John Hansel involved as well. But yeah, thanks for your time, Tom, and it's nice to see Izzy and everyone doing well.
Driving me mental.
All right, Tom, well, thanks ever so much, and we'll catch up soon, right?